In a quiet corner of a vast meadow, beneath a patch of sun-warmed soil, lived a colony of ants. They were not the biggest colony, they were not the strongest, but they were known for one thing. They never gave up. Among them lived a tiny ant named Arrow. Arrow was smaller than most of the other worker ants. Whenever food had to be carried, he was often assigned the smallest crumbs. Whenever heavy lifting was needed, others were chosen first. "You're too small," some would say. "You'll slow us down," others whispered. Arrow never argued, but inside he made a promise to himself. "I may be small, but I will never stop trying." The first fall. One summer morning, the colony discovered a large piece of bread near a human picnic site. It was a treasure, enough food to feed them for days. The ants formed a line and began transporting pieces back to the colony. Arrow spotted a crumb nearly 5 times his size. He wrapped his tiny jaws around it and began pulling, step by step, inch by inch. Halfway to the nest, the ground sloped upward. The crumb slipped. It rolled back down the hill. Some ants laughed softly. "Leave it, Arrow. Take something smaller." But Arrow stared at the crumb at the bottom of the hill. Then he walked down and tried again. The storm. Dark clouds gathered overhead. The wind picked up. Rain began to fall. To humans, rain is ordinary. To ants, rain is chaos. The hill became muddy and slippery. The crumb felt heavier. Water pushed against Arrow's body. Again, the crumb slipped. Again, it rolled down. This time, it nearly washed away. Arrow stood still for a moment. He was tired. He was soaked. He was discouraged. A small voice inside him whispered, "Maybe they're right. Maybe you are too small." But another voice, stronger and steadier, replied, "If you stop, the story ends here." So he tried something different. Instead of pulling from behind, he pushed from the side, using a small rock as leverage. He moved the crumbs slightly, then a little more. 2 other ants noticed. Instead of laughing, they joined him. Together, they moved the crumb higher, step by step. The turning point. By the time they reached the top of the hill, more ants had joined, not because the crumb was large, but because Arrow never quit. The crumb finally made it back to the colony. That winter, when food was scarce and cold winds froze the ground, that very crumb helped feed dozens of ants. No one laughed at Arrow anymore. The lesson of the queen. One evening, the queen called Arrow forward. "You are not the strongest," she said gently. "You are not the biggest." Arrow lowered his head. "But you are relentless, and that is greater than strength." The queen turned to the colony. "Remember this. Mountains are not moved by size. They are moved by persistence." Years later, seasons passed. Arrow trained young ants. Whenever one of them struggled, whenever one felt too small or too weak, Arrow would take them to the same hill. He would point to the slope and say, "I failed there many times. The hill didn't shrink. The rain didn't stop. The world didn't get easier." He would pause. "I just refused to quit." The moral. Ants do not have loud voices. They do not demand attention. They are stepped over every day. But they build cities underground. They carry weights many times their size. They survive storms. They adapt. They persist. And they teach us something powerful. You do not have to be the biggest to succeed. You do not have to be the strongest to win. You just have to keep going when others stop. Because sometimes the smallest ant carries the greatest determination.